Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I'm sitting here, relaxing, smoking on a little wedding cake, sitting here with some candlelight, and I'm just meditating on, have I been consistent in regards to how I view players who may miss time for reasons of protecting their body, or may miss times because they need mental health concern time away. And as I'm sitting here meditating, doing my thing, I'm realizing, nope, I haven't. Maybe you guys have been holding me to task in your minds, maybe, but maybe not. Sometimes it's best for a person to just hold themselves to task. Sometimes when you realize that you need to be checked, you check yourself, especially if you've been loud about something on camera. And I have been very loud about my opinions about Kawhi Leonard and the way that he takes time off versus the way that I support Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, for their various circumstances in similar fashions. And I'm meditating on just letting my mind go. If you guys follow me, you know my mind go all over the place all the time. But I'm letting my mind go, and I'm realizing, I'm like, yo, I'm biased toward Kwahi because of what he did to the Lakers. And I'm meditating, and then I'm thinking, I'm like, I miss the old Kwahi, you know what I mean? The Toronto Kwahi, because I could still support that Kwahi, you know what I mean? It didn't have all this Laker baggage, it didn't have all this Clipper baggage. And then I'm thinking, like, my opinion has changed a lot. I've learned a lot since I last assessed Kawhi's circumstances, too. That's another thing. It's like over the last year and a half, in studying the NBA, I've gained so much more understanding about certain things that maybe I didn't have when I was forming these opinions. And so it's important to revisit these opinions as well. So not only am I holding myself to task, but I'm also upgrading opinions. And I think that's important. That's an aspect of this talking head thing that I don't think gets a lot of credence. Because a lot of times people want you to stay consistent with your opinions, but we're learning on the fly. So as new things come about, it's going to have to adjust those opinions. So rather than to sit up here and say, oh, you know, I still feel the same way, I'm going to stand on that. When I no longer see the same evidence or now have a new understanding, I got to adjust my opinions. And in the conversation of Kawhi Leonard, that is the case. I got to reassess exactly how I feel about what Kawhi Leonard has been doing in regards to time off. Because I truly don't believe that every player, and I've said this a million times, is meant to play 82 games. And I've been thinking about how the system doesn't work, how things are meant for the old, things that are used right now in certain ways of the NBA structure was best used in the old system, in the old way of, in the old league, basically. And so now that there's a lot of changes and it's a lot more to consider, a lot of things need to be reconsidered in terms of these opinions. So I think for me, when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, it's this, man. There's two different things for me, personally. On one side is the sports rah-rah part of things. And on that side of things, I got a gripe with Kawhi Leonard that runs pretty deep. But at the same time, I also watch Karma beat the heck out of him and his team in regards to that situation. We won the championship that same year. So it's like we got the last laugh. And at the end of the day, a lot of that probably had more to do with the NBA structuring itself out in such a way to be controversial so that it can capture our attention, and less about probably actual transactional strategy, really. And as I've grown in understanding that, I've gotten closer to it since I've been doing this channel. It's like, well, I never revisited that. I never revisited that in regards to Kwahi. And then it's like, okay, well, he's a Clipper, so I'm always hating. There ain't never a moment where I'm actually looking at the Clippers saying yay or anything like that. So it's like I'm always looking at them sideways. And I remember the whole situation with Paul George as well, and the fact that he resented us for not trading for him, even though I thought trading for him and giving up Brandon Ingram at the time was not the best move for us. And I felt like, bringing him in would have been a great acquisition. I respected him as a player, but I just didn't think that was going to lead to a championship at that time. And I didn't think that we made the wrong decision. I felt like him, being angry at us for that, in my mind at the time, was just something I could be angry about as well. So all that going on. The Clippers is just, whatever. On the sports side of things, I don't like the Clippers, and nothing, and so on and so forth. But like the basketball side of things, it's like, okay, well, the as you look at the player person side of things, it's like, okay, well, did that bleed into that in this situation? And I think it did in this case, and I have to hold myself to task for that. It's like, I don't think I really thought all that out, but I did a whole lot of talking. So without revisiting the videos that I've made in regards to listening to what I said, I just remember the overall vibe of my opinion, and I can honestly say there needs to be more thinking in regards to that, because the one thing that I do believe is that Kawhi Leonard probably does not need to play 82 games. That's the bottom line. I don't think he's best to do that. If he can play in short spurts, and I feel the same way about Kyrie Irving, if they can play in short spurts throughout the season, if they're healthy by playoff time, they can be the best possible players available. Now, here's the problem with that. That's an advantage. That is an absolute advantage, because they are going to be healthier than the other guys who are going to be tasked with playing more games. You can't just let some guys play 50 games and everybody else have to play 82, and you're being paid to play 82 without any money coming out of your situation for missing games. It becomes a situation where you're just asking for an unfair advantage. And that is a part that everybody's going to always be able to bring up once they say they want to load manage or strategize the way it appears they do. Now, me personally, I'm asking the Lakers to bring in Kawhi Leonard because I believe, not Kawhi Leonard, excuse me, of course, Kyrie Irving, because I believe that even him at a limited amount can really provide a great deal of completion to what it is that our Laker team is going to need to be its best self. And we don't have a whole lot of paths to getting better, and he is the best path that we see. So that's a no-brainer for us, and it's most importantly the plan. So we're trying to get it done, and then from there we can see how we like it having him, and hopefully we can keep him going forward after that. That's my opinion. We'll see what the Lakers want to do as an organization. But I understand he's not playing 82. I understand that. I'm not expecting him to come in and play 82. Now, if he does play 82, I'd like that, but I don't believe he can. Physically, I don't think his body is meant for that. I think we've seen many times where he tries to do that and he gets injured. But the seasons that he plays in the playoffs, usually he has some time off. Something happens where he can walk away or whatever. Maybe that can be good for him in the long run, just taking time off. But then there's an argument for, well, the reason why he's getting injured is because there's no consistency. I don't know what the answer is. All I'm saying is I see both sides. At the end of the day, there's no perfect science to make it so that it's fair for guys who may not be able to make it through an 82-game season to not have an unfair advantage. There's no way for a guy like Kawhi Leonard to effectively keep himself healthy with the health and the knee issues and all of that, be the player that he needs to be to carry the load that he needs to carry on the Clippers as they're one of their best stars. It's impossible for him to do his job if his body isn't going to hold up. But it doesn't mean he's not great enough to do great things. You know what I mean? You want to see him be great, but he has to get to the finish line, and it's impossible to do that with his body. So do we shun him for trying to manage that and not educate the public on what it is that is necessary for them to see the best version of Kawhi Leonard? Bombard them with the notion that he's supposed to play 82 games, which will undoubtedly lead to him getting injured, thus making it so that we can't see him in the best moments. I mean, these type of things we need to really be honest about, because the media is going to bombard us with the responsibility for players to play. But the science is going to tell us that some of these guys cannot get to the playoffs if they try to play this darn schedule. And that is something that I think Kawhi Leonard and his team understand and have effectively managed. And if I'm going to be real about that, then I need to adjust my opinion to fit that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as I meditate, I'm sitting there smoking, I'm doing all this now, I'm like, yo, B, you have to upgrade your opinion on Kawhi Leonard and other players who may have to do this, because you truly believe that not everybody can play 82. I can't actually harbor that thought and not have my opinions match it. So that's the upgrade here, man. It's about looking inward, in every aspect, especially the things that matter to me in this channel. You guys, yeah, my word and the credibility to be better, yeah. I don't want to wait for people to say, hey, B, you're not getting it right. No. If I see something, I see something. I need to get it right, and I want you guys to see that I want to get it right. And most importantly, I want you guys to know that I do not think I always have it right. I don't. I never do. I have confidence in myself, and I'll give you what I have. But I've often been wrong, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's okay to upgrade your opinions. I think it's okay to get off of a square that ain't no good to stand on. Hey, my opinion, it's not what I thought it should be. Maybe I have new energy about that situation. Maybe I have new information. Maybe I just flat out learned a lesson that taught me that my opinion was not the one that I want anymore. I don't know. It depends on the situation. But in this case, I felt it necessary to say, you know what? Yeah. I think Kawhi Leonard probably should not play 82. I think he's managing it the way he has to within a system that doesn't really have a way to help players who have this issue but are great and should be playing. And there has to be some way to make it fair for these guys. It has to be some way to make it fair for the field. I don't know if you shave off all those games because you don't want to get rid of all that revenue. I understand that. But I understand the midseason tournament may be a solution to that. I respect that they're trying things like that. I think it's a way maybe to provide some solution. And I trust the NBA is much smarter than me. So they're going to see this this as an angle already. But I just think at the end of the day, the fan, we got to come around to understand it. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of us evolving. We got to let our opinions match what the data is really showing us. That's what it really comes down to, so that we can want the right things. Are you going to lead yourself to a championship, or are you going to lead yourself to a second round exit because we're misevaluating talent or misevaluating what we should expect from players? Are you winning? Are you trying to win or not? That's what it really comes down to. And if we ask Kawhi Leonard to play 82 games and he, tries to do that at the level that he's supposed to at 40 plus minutes a game, he's going to be out by February. But you're expecting him to win a championship, right? He's supposed to hit the last shot to win the big game, right? How the hell is he supposed to get there if his body won't allow him to? So do we write him off and say he's not good enough to play and kick him all the way out the league? Or send him to the bench because he's not able to play 82? Or do you look at that as one of the best players in the world and strategize a way to get him to those moments that allow him to be great? I don't know the answer to that. Honestly, I don't think it's fair at all to ask a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who probably can make it through the season, to play 82 so that guy can have an advantage to beat him. You see what I'm saying? It's like, there's no solution for this. It has to be within the schedule itself. The players can't win doing this. There's no way to make it fair for them. That's the moral of the story. So if I'm going to sit up here and get mad at Kawhi, I got to be honest and say, can he really make it through 82? If I'm going to sit up here and get mad at Kyrie, can I be honest and also say, can he make it through 82? I look at a guy like TJ Warren. Same guy, same thing. We saw him in the bubble. He looked great, but his body can never hold up. We ain't seen him since the bubble, but in that spurt of time, those little bitty spurts of time, dude's one of the best players we ever seen. And that's what he can give you. Do we kick him out the league because he's not good enough? No, he is good enough. What's the point? But you just know that he's only going to play 25, 30 games. But you're going to ask him to play 82. He's going to get hurt. And then you're going to sit up there and say he's injury prone. No. He's not injury prone. He's a great player who can give you that with his body. Now, how you figure out how best to utilize that player so that you can get the most out of him and not make it a disadvantage, I clearly speaking in circles. But at the end of the day, that's what we got to figure out, NBA. That's what we got to figure out, man. Because you're going to have elite talent who can do so much, but you run them into the ground. And then you got guys like Giannis who you won't get enough out of if you only play them 25 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Maybe it's in the nutrition. Maybe we continue to grow in that area. Maybe this will naturally evolve itself out as these kids get more and more athletic. But, I just think it's important to upgrade our opinion on this. And I speak for myself. I'm still not rooting for Kawhi. Still upset at what he did to the Lakers. Still upset at how that narrative played out. Didn't make us feel good. But at the same time, it's like, as it pertains to how he's handled his career, He's trying to keep himself fresh, man. He's trying to be the guy the Clippers are paying him to be. And I don't know that he believes he can do that if he continues to try to play 82 game schedules. And maybe he's taking that too far. Maybe he is taking that farther than necessary. But is he far off, nevertheless, from what it is that we should be looking at, though? Is he too far off base if he's not doing it the right way? Because guys are getting hurt a lot. And you really are pressuring him to play 82. And let's just be honest. There's only like 2 or 3 guys in the league that can really do that, man. With Kevon Looney, Mikal Bridges. Like, these are the dudes that can really do that. I think of like a couple guys in my mind that have been able to do that. Green, AC from back in the day. Andre Miller. Guys who could stay playing forever without ever getting hurt, who can actually do 82 games a season for 15 years. It's only like, in the history of the sport, it's probably like 30 people. And a lot of that had to do with the style of play, luck, not being athletic, jumping off the ground. A lot of that, I mean, we just got to be realistic, man. You're asking a guy like Ja Morant, who uses so much athleticism, jumping, to play 82 games, and then you want him to be the best player at the end of the year to win a championship, and then you want him to do that every single year so he can compete with people like Michael Jordan. Like, how is his body supposed to do this? When the sport that he plays has him guarding people who are super fast, super strong, he's jumping up and down, landing on his ankles and stuff. How is he supposed to accomplish what it is that we're demanding he do, if not just to run into the injury bug that's inevitably going to find him? I don't think the injury bug necessarily has to be inevitable. I just think we need to adjust it so that it's not. And I know injuries will still take place, no doubt, but we need to be real about the fact that as the game evolves, as we talk about the system itself, and players are more deep, players are more skilled, teams are more deep, fix the contractual stuff to fit the new times, this too needs to be updated. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Our opinions, the schedule, all of it. It's got to fit the new league, man. It's got to fit a team with 12 men that can all play at a high level. You know what I mean? Not just a team that has about 9 guys who can kind of go. No. We're talking about a team who can replenish players from the G League if the guys on the bench suck. You're always going to be good enough to play people at a hell of a level. So you got to understand that minutes need to be structured differently now. All of this stuff needs to upgrade to the new league. Because they're not going to go backwards in an evolution. These players are going to come in, they're going to be better and better and better. You're going to have guys on the back of your bench that are going to be as good as all-stars today, 10, 12 years from now. So that's just the reality of it. If you still got things structured for the way that it's always been, it's going to get further and further and further away from what will work, in my opinion. And you're going to see more and more instances where players try to get creative to maneuver around such a system, and they're going to look more and more insubordinate doing so until we upgrade our thinking. So that's what it is, man. That's where meditation took me. I really appreciate you guys being a part of this moment, because I always try to look inward, and that is something that I pride myself on. So I appreciate you guys. BDF44. Thank you all for watching. Wow.